Good morning, Rabbi Isai. What's your name? I'm not going to try to say the last name from Flatbush, from Avenue N. Atzola. Paramedic. So are you on that WhatsApp group with Atzola guys?
Rafi, the barber, got me on this 51 days ago.
Really? 51 days ago. See, he's still at it, Rafi the barber. Even though he got married and everything. Shkoyach Rafi the barber. Yeah, Rafi the barber, yeah. Rabbi say this email section is crazy. I'm gonna probably not be able to do all of it. There's a lot of interesting stuff. I have here a message from Chaya, all sorts of stuff. By the way, so Official is doing this program. Let me see. Here it is. He already has 68 Chayalim that signed up for this, and 175 English speakers, Americans. So that's $175,000 he's on the hook for. If they all do it, halavai, we daven. And over 400, that's for me, Gary, not for Doilam. And that for over 400 people joined the Hebrew WhatsApp group for Sanhedrin. I don't know how many joined up for English. I'm not privileged to those numbers, but 400, that's without any marketing, anything. Just people within the shir sending to their friends and statuses. Over 400 people signed up. Real quickly, we'll do this because he's a chayal and this is talking about Official. Volume. The kids.
Good morning, Rabbi.
It looks like he's doing some sort of security. No, he's in a. And this is all the way at the end. It's a 2-minute long video.
This is such Geschmack stuff. How would I understand the Daf? How would I be learning the end of Bava Basra if not for the amazing MDY Shir? Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right. Rabbi say, I want to tell the Olam again about the amazing scene that we're going to have here in Eretz Yisrael in Emerald. It's the nicest hall that we have here in Ramat Shemesh. It's a beautiful Reb Meilech Biederman, Yoeli Dickman, and they started selling tickets by mistake last night, and over 100 people, I believe, bought tickets. There was like a test, and some guy thought it was real, and he threw it out in the group. And you get to choose where you sit. So, we are planning a Galaseum here in Eretz Yisrael. It's going to be both English and Hebrew. Yoeli Dickman, Musica, Hebrew speakers and English speakers. אנחנו משערים שיהיו בערך 600 אנשים. זה גם לנשים, לתת כבוד לאנשים שנותנות לנו לבוא. The date is January 2nd. Beis Teves. It's going to be a gewaltige time. Gewaldig. There's a QR code on the bottom. Here, right over here. This is how you sign up. You go to the QR code over there. Rabbi Isai, the raffle is over, and 2 people were chosen. If you didn't win, what? One, not chosen. You're right. That's not a little bit of a slip there. I'll tell you, I don't really know these people. I don't think. Yeah, that was. So if you didn't win, the money goes to tzedakah. The money it's good. It's spent in the right way. So don't have any charot or anything. Rabbi say, here we go. Looking forward. It's 2 people, 1, a room each. Each room is 2, for a couple, plus $500 of travel fare if they're coming from somewhere. I believe. Here it goes. Rabbi say, this is very exciting. Chaim Milstein. If you know of a Chaim Milstein, don't wake him up in the middle of the night. Oops. Oh, no. I can't. How do you do this now? I touched him. You have to do the whole thing again. So let's choose about something else. Rabbi Isai, we're starting Sanhedrin very soon. What is it? A week from now. A week from today. And it's time to bring your friends, time to convince people. Don't switch. Leave it azoi. This is Chaim Bilstein. It's after this. It continues. You want again? Melly, sit over there. Wait, we're waiting patiently. Here we go. We have time. Jonathan Chayfetz. Somebody said he might be from Baltimore. If you're Baltimore, you fly? I don't know. Okay, probably not.
No, you drive 4 hours.
Zenenev Zelechasa, says Elliot Aronoff. Big fan of the shir. Just thought I would share this with you. The case of Zenenev Zelechasa is Koifel Midas Daim. The person may be saying, I'm building an extension and it doesn't cause you a loss. Hence his Daim terminology. Now, what he's saying is true, but I was saying even more than that. That Achronim say, this is the chiddush that I was trying to say yesterday, which I don't understand, is that Midas Daim is also when you have a loss. If you have a loss, but the other guy has a greater loss, a much greater loss, your loss is $1,000, this is $100,000, we will do Koifen Amidas Daim. We'll force you to lose your $1,000 because he's going to lose $100,000. It's a chiddush. You think Koifen Amidas Daim means, listen, I have no loss. What do you care? No, it's even in such a case. Over the summer, my father convinced me to start doing the daf until the end of the summer with a gift as an incentive. It's tremendous. You hear that? The father is smart. He gave his son a gift. He's in 11th grade now. As I find out just how geschmack it is to do the daf, and specifically Yeshir, I've continued doing it way past my chiyuv for my father's gift, and I'm still watching Yeshir daily, despite being busy in yeshiva. After hearing about Sanhedrin learning incentive, I started spreading the word. I didn't know it applies to yeshiva bachrim also, particularly through my WhatsApp status. And I'm proud to say that I've recruited 4 fellow bachrim to join the daf. $4,000. And still counting. Looking forward to seeing you by the Shabbaton, as I will be attending as well. Moshe Eisenberger, 11th grade at Heichal HaTorah, Teaneck, New Jersey. Gewaldig. Spotted MDY Yomi on the Staten Island Expressway. By Baruch Weisfeld, whatever. Today is my great-grandfather's 88th yard side, Rabbi Yaakov Stefansky. I guess my father was named after him, so it's my great-grandfather. Thank you all the time. Never listen, says this is Yaakov Stefansky himself. Never listen to Yeshir and never missed a day of emails. And sponsors for over 500 days. And I can say that if I would listen to the whole shir, it would definitely change my life. Looking forward to Shabbaton. Sincerely, a Talmud from Chazor Sashas Koilel, Brooklyn, New York. I don't live on the 4th floor, whatever that means. Rabbi said this, sometimes I read these emails at home and I cry to myself. This one I cried. I hope I don't cry now. I try to take it out at home. Mrs. Nirenberg from Muncie. Dear Rebelli, although my husband doesn't currently learn the daf from a ski lodge in the Alps while on vacation in Mexico and a business trip to Seattle, I'm already choking up. I have something special to share with you about him. Zelig, a loving and devoted father and husband, respected Talmid Chacham, was up until recently also a successful cybersecurity professional who with Mesiras Nefesh devoted every spare minute of his day to learning Torah. However, almost 3 years ago, he received a devastating and life-changing diagnosis of ALS. His disease progressed at a ferocious pace, and within a few months, he was completely debilitated, unable to walk, speak, eat, or breathe on his own. Once healthy and active, and now he spends his days confined to bed or his wheelchair and requires around-the-clock nursing care. One of the blessings in this difficult nisayon, that now Zelik can spend his days immersed in learning. The highlight of his day is Daf Yomi Shiurim. Often he listens to both English and Hebrew version, even though it's more difficult for him to focus now than in the past. Your lively, dynamic, engaging style keeps him riveted to the screen, immersed in the daf, and brings him joy and a feeling of accomplishment. I even posted a Daf Yomi chart on the wall so his non-Jewish nurses can ensure that he doesn't miss a single day of the daf. We are eternally grateful to you, Rebelli, for giving Zelig the opportunity to continue to grow and steig despite his illness. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yeshua for all that you do. Sincerely, Mrs. A. Nuremberg, Muncie. Here is Zelig Rabboisai. Unbelievable. Wow. gives me tremendous chizuk. Huh? What do you say? That's the chart on the right. I threw in what she put on the wall. Unbelievable. All right. How could I forget this? Here's Dov Harris from London. Keeps on going with his own unique style. Don't be caught out. Take the stand. Sanhedrin starts 1912. Join DafYomi.com. Gedalia Miller just wrote me an email. I understand you, Baruch Hashem, have a full team working tirelessly on a very exciting upcoming Shabbaton. I will Be'ez Hashem attend. He will be coming there, paying his own way. I'm offering to possibly give a lecture. It can be a concurrent session. I believe many patients maybe means yes, can benefit from here firsthand from a parent perspective of several struggling children, how I have survived and thriving through this holy journey. Throughout this holy journey, it's unbelievable what he does. Gedalia Miller puts together, we know what a Shabbaton is. It's literally thousands of hours of preparation, and he does 4-6 of them a year, I don't even know, all over the world. He just wants to bring awareness and help struggling families. All the best. Your Talmud, 8-minute daf since Bruchas Daf Beis, Gedalia Miller, Kesher Nafshi. So, you have to speak to, we have a real all-star lineup, including Reb Nachman Seltzer, Yoeli, Reb Yoel Gold. We have Rabbi Ben Shushan. I hope I don't mess up. Reb Shlomo Farchi. We have Refishal Shachter is coming for the whole Shabbos. Rabbi Cinnamon. Who else? I'm missing somebody, no? I might come. My wife is coming.
Oh,
Generally. And we have also, what's that woman? Miriam Swerdlove. Miriam Swerdlove is a famous speaker for women. Rabbi Gold is going to be giving a speech just for the women and just for the men. Because the room, we don't have enough room at that point. The kids, he's going to give 2 speeches. It's going to be very nice. Noam is going to speak. Avi, are you speaking? It doesn't look good for you. Okay. Maybe Gedalia Miller from Kesher Nafshi now. I don't know. Maybe they'll throw in for his, it's like, I don't know, whatever. I'll tie it in somehow to the daf. All right. All that being said, I had to skip a lot of the emails. I got a tremendous amount of emails today, and a lot of them are good ones, but for a different time. The Sechta, for the safe and speedy return for all the hostages. Parnassa Chodesh. Linishma Zechai ben Moshe. Linishma Zechai bas Yosef. Eitan, you're staying for Shachris, right?
Yes, sir.
We need a kohen desperately here. Second minion.
He's a kohen.
You're a kohen. You know how to do it though? You have practice? With our chazan, it's very hard because you'll see what I mean. Like he says the word before you finish. You're like, what? Okay. V'sechta for safe and spirit, you gotta be on your toes with this guy. Parnassa Chodesh Yosef ben Chaya, Sara for Parnassa berevach. Parnassa Chodesh Tzvi Spero, Refuah Shleimah, Itamar, Efrim ben Chaya, Baliма. Parnassa Chodesh Refuat hanefesh and guf for Breina Bina bad Miriam baila or a bracha bad Breina Bina Netanel Kalev ben or a bracha. Parnassa Chodesh the 5th one for a fasting complete Refuah Shleimah for Shmuel Nechemia ben Hinda. Amen. Parnassa Chodesh 6th one Lili Nishmas Silya bas Dvora. The Shom Shadab ben Aliyah. Parnassa Chodesh 7th one Lili Nishmas ben Yomin Meir ben Robert. Hashem Yinkum Daimai. Lili Nishmas ben Yomin Meir ben Zev David. Robert, do we have a Shina Hashem yet?
Not yet. Yeah, it's changed from Robert to Bobby.
Parnassa Shavua, Refuah Shleimah for Yosef Chaim Shmuel ben Alta Nechama from his grateful family. Parnassa Shavua has a schus that all medical tests should show health, and may Hashem make it that it should be so. Parnassa Yoim, Yehuda Scheff for Wednesday, Yud Kislev, on my father's Yisrael ben Avrohom Yosef's 37th yahrzeit, is the Shom Shadav and Aliyah. Parnassa Yoim Anonymous, happy birthday to the Yochanan Iskowitz from all the people he brought to MDY. You might have something to do with this because he and Raffle the barber are like partners in crime. He brought Raffle bought him. I don't know. They have something going on over there. Ilana Price, Mazel Tov, Libni, Akiva ben Gigi. He's in 4th grade. I'll see you Mishnayis, Meseches, Rosh Hashanah, V'tainis. Rabbi, I hear what's going on here. A mother puts in a thing for her son that he's finishing Mishnayis. He's in 4th grade. Rosh Hashanah and Tainis. Akiva. We're all proud of you. Yossi Mizrahi. BATORAH.com. Lili Nishmas, Moir Chami, Chacham, Mordechai Nisim Masri Zechet Tzadik Devracha Sheniftar B'Yom Rishon Parshat Vayishlach. It's the Shabbat should have an Aliyah. Art of the month for Schus, for Belly, and the whole MBY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Rabbi say we have a very, very interesting daf today, and we're extremely happy that Yoshi is back. I'll show you why in a second. Tana Rabbanan. Yesterday we had a whole sugya. What happens if your shtar is erased? You pour water on it, it gets erased. What do? So we said you go, you bring Eidim. If you have the Eidim, they come forward and they testify what was in the shtar. So says the Gemara, what if a person says that I lost my loan document? Somebody owes me $1 million and I lost it. What do you do now? And of course you have Eidim that could testify, yeah, it's true. What do you guys think? Should we write him another loan document? Absolutely not. Why not? He's going to use it again. And what if I lost my document to my real estate, to my house? Should I write you another one? Yes? No, why not? Why yes? Why can't you have 2 stars?
You said Saturday.
Oh, you're paying attention. I said it about what? I said it about real estate. I don't know what. Okay. So, even though there's Zaydin that say, they come forward to Bezin, we said, we saw the $1 million loan, we wrote a shtar, we signed it, and we gave it to him. And in this lois a shtar, we have to be concerned that he's going to use it and sue the guy for $2 million instead of $1 million. Says the Gemara, that's for a loan. When it comes to a sale, you do write something like that. Take a look at this for a second. There are 2 things that a shtar accomplishes. Think about it. What does a shtar accomplish when you buy a house? 2 things. First of all, proof of ownership. You got to prove that's yours. Second of all, this the Gemara always discusses this. We're not so familiar with it. I need a shtar that if somebody comes and takes, there's a lien on my house. In those days, there's no title insurance, right? I don't know. Is there such a thing as title insurance in Israel? I don't know. In America, you buy real estate, you get title insurance. So if somebody comes and says, listen, even though you couldn't find that there was a lien on this house, but there was one, it's over here, it's happened, and they come and they grab your house from you, you could go to somebody and get your house back. You get the cash value of it. There's insurance, title insurance. In the time of the Gemara, there wasn't such a thing. Somebody has a lien on the property. So what do? They come and they say, I gave a loan to the guy you sold the house, that you bought the house from. You bought a house from Ruvain, he owes me $1 million. He doesn't want to pay me. I'm coming and I'm taking your house. I'm sorry, the house is mine. And now you don't have a house. So what do? You have a shtar. And with this shtar, you go to somebody else that bought a house from Ruvain, after you bought your house from Ruvain, and you grab the house from him. That's called achrayus. You use the shtar to collect. You have a lien on other properties. What we could do here is we can make a compromise. You don't have a shtar. Okay, you don't have a shtar. We will write you a new one saying that it's your property. But you cannot use that shtar to grab other people's properties from. That you're going to lose. The guarantee part you're losing. To prove that it's yours and that the guy that sold it to you shouldn't be a rush and take it back from you, that we could do. We could write a document that you bought it from him. So you'll have, in this case, you'll have 1, but not 2. It'll be proof that it's yours. Now, there's a little bit of a problem. Yesterday we finished off the shir with a great story. Arabs came into the town. They grabbed people's real estate. But they were smart. They forced the people to give the documentation of the real estate. So that later on, if you come to court and say, hey, this Arab stole from me. No, look, I have all the documents. The people went to Abai and said, help us out. Give us some sort of document that it's ours. We're going to give them the original, but we need some. Abai said, I can't help you. They kept on pestering and pestering. He said, I can't help you. Finally, he sent them out there with a lie. He said, here's a shtar, take it. He wrote a false shtar. He wrote a shtar that the top was erased, the bottom wasn't. He gave them a bogus. Get out of here. I can't help you. Question is, why can't you help him? You could do this. Give him a shtar that proves that it's yours, but that you cannot collect property from anybody else. We just said you could do that. If you lose a shtar, you could do that. What's the problem? So we'll go with the Rashba. The Rashba says because He held, Abai holds, like this sheet right over here. Says Rav Shimon Gamliel Oimer, you can't do this. Af, shtori mekach umemkar ein koisten. So Rav Shimon Gamliel is of the opinion, once in a while it happens, that the person purchasing real estate gives the real estate back to the one he purchased it from. Gives it back to him. I don't want it. Here. Here's the star. You get the star, you get the real estate. Back. Where do we see something like this? I'll give you a mashal. They say, a chassid comes to the Rebbe and says, Rebbe, I want you siddur. Do me a favor. I want you siddur. Siddur from the Rebbe, it's worth a lot. So the Rebbe said, then what am I going to daven from? I'll tell you what, go to the store, buy me a new siddur. So the guy goes to the store, buys him a new siddur, and gives it to the Rebbe. So the Rebbe says, this is a gift to me? Yeah. It's 100% mine, yeah. He says, oh, okay, it's my siddur. Here, take it. Here's the Rebbe's siddur.
I'm going to ask you that.
Yeah?
With his gartel. The guy wanted Chaim's gartel. So Chaim
Oh,
gave him
Chaya?
brand new gartel. It's exactly like yours. So Chaim said, like mine? Fix it up. There you go. Thank you very much. Smamish happened.
Okay, so here's the story. Shimon Gamliel says, a guy received a present from Ruvain. He gives back the documentation of the present. Let's say it was real estate. Here, back to Ruvain. Take the star back. Now, does that work? How do you give back a present? Just by giving back the documentation? So you're going to see it's actually machlokes in the Gemara. Shimon Gamliel holds that if I receive a documentation that's my apartment, you give me some guy, he's very generous. Here, Eli, I want to give you an apartment in Yerushalayim. Shkoyach, I take that, and then I say, you know what? Here's the star back. Shimon Gamliel says it works. So we're concerned in our case also. What if a guy sells an apartment to somebody? He hates the apartment. It's too much taxes. I don't know what it is. It's in the south side of Chicago. It's worth -0. He goes and gives him back the star. And now he claims that it's his. So, according to Shimon Gamliel, you cannot write a second document. You can't write a second document because if you write a second document, you're going to have issues. You gave it back already. You can't have a document proving that it's yours when it's not yours. You already gave it back to the original guy. No, it doesn't work. You can't just give back the star. Okay. We just said that if you have a piece of real estate, you lost the documentation, you want to rewrite it. You have Aiden that you bought the real estate from somebody. What do? You do step 1, not step 2. You write a documentation. This property is owned by Ruvain, Shalom Yisrael. You cannot use this documentation to go and collect other properties from other people if you lose this property. My time, like Judah said before, you can't have 2 shtaris on one piece of property. Why? You repeated, right? But guess what? I forgot that I said it. I'm not even joking. So I want to show you a beautiful chart that Yoshi did here. You're gonna have to stick with me here. This is, I'm not exaggerating, 15 steps. Okay, they're all easy steps. A lot of them are just simple steps. I'll call it 15 steps because it took him a lot. There's a mistake here. He sent it to me. He said, okay, here you go. And I looked at it. I said, no, it has to be like this. It took him over an hour to fix because each step there's a lot of code that goes behind it. So there's a guy on top. His name is Moicher. There's a guy on the bottom, on the right bottom corner. He's the Balchoif. He's a Malva. He's a lender. The guy on top owns 3 properties. Okay. So the guy on the bottom gives him $100, and by doing so, he now has a lien on all 3 properties. The guy that we just saw, Lekeach number 1, we're going to be talking about him the whole time. He purchases a property from the Moicher. Okay, he gets a property and he gets a shtar. Now we're talking about what happens if he has 2 stars. He could do something bad. What could he do? Afterwards, the guy sells property number 2 to Lekeach number 2, and property number 3 to Lekeach number 3. Okay, so now these 3 guys have properties. The guy on top, Lekeach number 1, he's our main character here. He's a liar. He says, I lost my shtar. He puts the other one in his closet. He says, I lost a shtar, and he has 2 stars. What's going to happen? Baal Chayv sues the seller for $100. I need my $1 million back. Seller says, I don't have $1 million. So what happens if he doesn't have $1 million? Baal Chayv goes after the property. So he goes and he grabs the property from Lekeach number 1. So Lekeach says to Lekeach number 2, I want your property. So he takes his property. You saw that? Lekeach number 1 takes the property from Lekeach number 2. What happens when he takes the property from Lekeach number 2? The Bezin tears up his shtar. But this guy has a second shtar. What the Gemara is going to ask in a second is, Lekeach number 1 could go right now to Lekeach number 3 and take his property. Why do you have to make it more complicated than that? Right? That's the simplest way. Right now, Lekeach number 1 will go to Lekeach number 3. I want your property. Here's a shtar. But Lekeach number 1 is smarter than that. He does something like this. He says, Shufli ad ikni, whatever the lashon is, he tells the Balchayv, you took a property from me? Give it back to me. You see this? Look what he does. Shuf. And the Balchayv says, okay, you could sit there. I'll let you sit there for another 4 or 5 years. Why? They will both gain. What are they going to do? They're making shtick here. If you let Lekeach number 1 sit on that property for 4 or 5 years, Lekeach number 1 is going to go then to Lekeach number 3 and grab his property because of the loan. After 4 or 5 years, people are going to forget what happened 4 years ago that Lekeach number 1 already stole a property from Lekeach number 2. After 4 or 5 years, they're not going to make a big deal and they say, oh, you owe money to him? Okay, Lekeach number 3, give me a property. Then they're going to take that property and divide it. So it goes like this. There's a clock ticking now, 4 or 5 years. And after 4 years, Lekeach number 1 gets another shtar chayv. He comes out, here's my shtar, you owe money, and give me your property. So Lekeach 1 gives the property. Lekeach number 1 goes and grabs the property from Lekeach number 3. If he has 2 shtaris, he'll end up with 2 properties. And when he ends up with 2 properties, what he could do is he could take half and half, give the other guy half, he'll take half. He'll end up with another half of property. Or a whole property, whatever it is. Yeah, understood? It's pretty simple. What are you asking?
Why wouldn't Lekeach number 2 already have taken Lekeach number 3?
Lekeach number 2 should take from Lekeach number 3?
Yeah,
okay.
Number 1 takes from Lekeach
So,
number 2.
oh, you mean, it's a good kasha. You're saying that when he comes back to him, he'll already know the shtick. I hear?
Why does the Baal have 2 stars? How can he grab the second?
Who says he has 2 stars?
How do you grab the second time? That's the one.
That's a good. So the Gemara is going to ask that kasha. What do you think the teretz is? The answer is he doesn't have 2 stars. He only has 1, and that's the Gemara's question. These are all good questions. Another question is, why does he have to wait 4 or 5 years? He could just do a shtick on day 1.
Why does the Baal take? He doesn't go to the last one.
Right. That's also a good kasha. Also kasha. So let's see. Says the Gemara. Let's see it inside. Let me just go back all these steps. It's not complicated, just a lot of small little steps, right? Because the fact that he sells it, this is about chayiv. He took a loan. Okay, so that we got. This bachayiv where it says 1, he's going to go to Lekeach number 1, and oh no, we have to do the whole thing. They buy all 3 of them buy karka. Now bachayiv produces a shtar. He gets Lekeach number 1 gets 2 stars now because he said he lost the shtar. If we do it, if we give him another shtar, we'll have an issue. Bachayiv produces a loan. He says, you owe me money. He doesn't have money. So what does he do? Taraf leilahai. He's going to grab the field from Lekeach number 1. Here you go. Va'azal hai. Lekeach number 1 is going to go. Umapik chad. He's going to pull out 1 shtar out of this 2. V'tarav lekuchas. He's going to grab the field from Mr. Lekeach number 2. Here we go. And then he tells, Lekeach number 1 tells the malva on the right bottom corner, Shufli de ekumba. Let me stay here for 4 or 5 years. And then come back to me and grab it here. So the clock starts ticking. And then he's going to go. He's going to ask him for more money, for shtar chayv, and he's going to grab another field. So the question is, what he just asked is, how does he have a shtar chayv to do it a second time? The first time when he pulls the shtar out, we're going to rip it. He's not going to have another shtar chayv. A gewaldige thing, we're talking about a guy that's a ganav, and he uses all his seichel. I know people that are swindlers. We all know, right? A certain percent of society are people that do this for a living. The amount of chachma that they use, the amount of seichel, they could have been gazillionaires if they opened up a regular business. They put all their efforts They befriend this person and call that person and pretend they're that, and they live a life of lies. Says the Chofetz Chaim in this week's parasha. Im Lavan Garti, the famous Rashi. Garti is Gimel Reish Taf Yud. Im Lavan Garti Taryag Mitzvah Shamarti. I kept all the Torah, says Yaakov Avinu. U'mamasav haroim lo ilamati. I didn't learn from his bad deeds. Says the Chofetz Chaim. Yaakov Avinu was saying even deeper. Give me a mashal. I thought this is maybe it might be a chizuk for somebody. The famous basketball player Kobe. So after he died, somebody sent me a clip of chizuk. He gave chizuk to people, and he said, "We know that he was probably the greatest athlete and whatever, but he said that he outworked everybody in the NBA. That his chacham, he outworked everybody. If everybody came to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, he came at 4:35. Nobody ever outworked him. He always outworked him, and it made a roshim on me personally. And I said, if I'm giving a shiur, and Kobe could get up at 5 in the morning to play basketball, I need to get up at 5:30, 4:30. Then it came a shtickle earlier. Later on, I had to sleep a little bit more this year. But I learned from him. I actually learned from Kobe. I'm sorry. Says the Chofetz Chaim that you could learn. Yaakov Avinu had Sara that he didn't learn from Lavan, how he put his whole everything into stealing, into governing. I should have learned. There's something to learn from him. That's such a swindler and how he went about it and his whole day. Kol kuloi. There's people like that. This guy's thinking to himself, I'll do another star. I'll say I lost it. I'll come. I'll wait 4 years. I'll make a deal with the guy. We'll split it afterwards. Garbage. Says the Gemara. Okay, so now, Rabbi, we're going to learn something special here. There are 4 stars. If somebody knows what the 4 stars are, I'll give them 150,000 points. I'll even give them a free room maybe for the Shabbaton. If you didn't learn this recently, there are 4 stars when a guy comes to collect his field. Let's say somebody owes him money. And the guy can't pay. He goes and he looks around and he finds a field that he used to own and he sold. He grabs it. He has to go through a whole process of 4 stars. Anybody know what they are? So the Rashbam goes, it's a long Rashbam, but here, this guy lent money. He comes to the Shtar Chayv and he screams, says the Rashbam, where is it? Here we go. Dibra Masav Omer of Nachman. Kachu say there, says the Rashbam, Malva Bala Bezmet Soyek ala Loiv, he screams, Sheifra Loi, Chayva, they should pay him, Azminim Lei, Loiv Bedina, and he brings it to Bezdin. Kidamrina, Vi Loi Osim, Shamtin Lein. If he doesn't want to come to Bezdin, we put him in Cherim. The Bezdin takes the Shtar Chayv, rips it up, and gives him something called the Shtar Tirfa. That allows this guy to search his properties, to go all over the world and search if he has any real estate anywhere else. He looks everywhere. Because he locates a property. He says, I want the apartment in Yerushalayim with the great view. So Bezdin tears up Shtar Tirfa and writes him something called Shtar Adrachta. So you can't use the Shtar Tirfa again because he's going to go somewhere else and use it and search for more properties. Rip it up. Then once he locates this, he says, okay, this is the field I want. Finally, we have to write something called a Shtar Shuma. That's Bezdin comes and looks at the field and says it's worth $1 million. Why? There's an unbelievable halacha that this loiva, whoever it is, the original guy that borrowed money, he could one day come. Imagine, in 1970, he didn't have any money. So the Malva comes and grabs his apartment overlooking the Kaisel. It's worth $500,000. Here, take it. In 2024, this guy made a shtickle money, the loiva. Now he wants his apartment back, overlooking the Kaisel. He goes to the guy. He gives him, today it's worth $26 million minimum. He goes and gives the guy $500,000 and takes his apartment back. But how do we know how much money? So you need a Shtar Shuma. The Bezdin says $500,000. Now later on, unless the guy sold his apartment overlooking the Kaisel, then it's too late. But if he still owns it, he has the ability to come and grab his apartment back. Hey, you need a Shtar Shuma. Ein in the Rashbam if you want to see the whole thing. It's interesting, right? Did anybody here know? Go through this process of tirfa, adrachta, and shuma. But the point is, it's 4 because you have the shtar chayv. Now, the point is the shtar chayv is ripped up long ago. And that's why Mr. Adar Global is asking, what's your name again? I forget. Ari Simon is asking, Lamaisi doesn't have a shtar. How can he come forward a second time and ask for money if his shtar was ripped up a long, long time ago? 3 stars ago it was ripped up. So Vikivin the Karana in the story of the Malva, but my Hodar Torifle, we ripped it up. You'll say we don't rip it. Called Tirfa. Now we know what a Tirfa is. Tirfa gives you the ability to do search and whatever it's called. Search and seizure, great, search and seizure. Hey, first of all, if you don't rip up the like Sibe Karan on the story of the Malva, if you don't rip up the chayv, the star of the chayv, it's not a good tirfa. And when you write the third star called the drachta, the like Sivba, it doesn't say in the drachta itself. Karan on the tirfa that we ripped up the second star, lavadrachti, it's not a good adrachta. V'chol Shuman, the fourth star, the like Sibe Karan ladrachta that we ripped up the third star, lav Shuman, it won't be a good star. Says the Gemara, okay, you almost got me. You're asking me, how did he have 2 stars? He didn't. This guy, here, why should I go there? We'll go here. Very simple. There's an older fellow on the bottom right corner. He owned the field, and a guy stole his field from him. So his son doesn't need a star. His son doesn't have a star. He's not a bachayv. His son, all he has witnesses that his father used to be the owner of this field, and this guy stole from him. And he goes and he collects money he collects his field from the Likeach. So if the Likeach had 2 stars, that Likeach could do the same shtick. There's no star here. You're asking me, the star is ripped up. There's no star. I'm talking about a case, there's no star, but the same, we have the same fear that Mr. Likeach, if he had 2 stars, he could do bad things. So ask the Gemara, hold on, what's going on here? Oh, that story, we're just going through the whole thing here. Okay. Check this out. The Gemara just asked a simple question. Why do I have to wait 4.5 years? You saw what just happened? Let me do it in one shot. Again, I have 2 stars. Let me collect 2 fields from 2 different people. Why do you have to wait 4 years? Typically, they keep in the Nugget Trey stars. Since he has 2 stars, he'll collect 2 fields, one after another. Says Gemara, no, that's not good. Lekech number 2 and Lekech number 3 are going to be running around in Bezin all day, and finally the Bezin is going to realize what happened there. They'll realize his shtick. He wants to wait and make sure that people don't remember what happened to the first guy. Says the Gemara, but I have another problem. What would you do, Rabbi? Say, think about it. You don't need the Gemara. If somebody comes to you and says, I lost my star, and you want to write him another star, but you want to make sure that it doesn't pull out a second star, what would you do? You write inside whatever you need to write inside. That, hey, there's another star, be careful. The guy might be a thief, but this is the only star that you can use. Here, says the Gemara. You look at that star ma'alya. You look at the taver l'moicha. Write him a receipt to the seller, and the seller doesn't have to worry about anything. Anything that comes about this real estate, psulin. Don't even count it. Disregard any star. Besides this one star that we're writing today. It says in the star. Disregard any other star in the world besides the star that was written today. And the guy won't be able to use 2 stars. So they told Rav Papa this. Amri lo kamed Rav Ashi or Rav Ashi. Says Semeres. There's a machlokes later on the sugya in the Gemara in 2 days. Do you write a receipt or not? Now you have to be careful about writing receipts because a receipt there's mice that could eat the receipt. And maybe the guy doesn't want to watch the receipt. The mice will eat it. V'chulu v'chulu v'chulu. I'm just trying to think about. Now I once heard a Maisa. It's not a true story, but there's a message behind it. A guy comes to Eretz Yisrael, and he says Maisa. He says the taxi driver tells him, "You want me to take you to some chashuv place?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "I'll take you to the cave of Raffle." He says, "Who's that?" He says, "That's Rav Shalom Kastir's great-grandmother." He says, "Oh, that's chashuv." What's the pshat? Because people are flying all over the world, the different we have here. When was the last time we went to the cave of Rachel Imenu, which is mentioned in the Torah? This is a place, Rachel Mevaka Al Boneh. No, I'll go to this one, that one. That's the segula for this. No. Raffle Imenu, Rabbi, Raffle Imenu. We have the office here. The office Akdoshim. When was the last time you went to Marisa Machpelah? No. Though it's a good shaila. It's the stories. It brings out a point. But anyway, mice from Shalom Kistir. You have and Kaiser Shoiver. Like the guy, I have to say once in a while. I have to say, you never eat in a restaurant that has a picture of Rav Shalom Kistir in the front window. Omerluhu ba'alma Kaiser Shoiver. Oh, 1 minute. Let me just finish this line. So he says, listen, typically speaking, you do write a receipt. This is the svar that we just said before. Why don't you write a receipt here? You're saying, I have a way out of it. Just write to the seller that don't worry about it. Here, you have a receipt. Nobody will ever be able to come to you with 2 stars because it says before in your receipt, disregard all other stars. That's not the problem, says the Gemara. The Dilma is about Chayiv. We're now concerned that the Bachayiv, there's a Bachayiv, and he's going to grab something from the Loikeach. We're worried about this Mr. Loikeach, the guy number 1 on top of the chart. He's going to go to the 2 guys underneath him. They don't have receipts. Who has a receipt? You just wrote a receipt to the seller, not to the other Lekuchais. They don't have receipts. Says the Gemara, this is interesting because if you don't have Nekudas, you could get mixed up here. It's not Amrei, it's Amore. Lekuchis lav Amore da'ara hadri. What, they're not going to go? The Lekuchis are not going to go to the owners? Like if somebody comes in and says, hey, give me your apartment, get out of here. I need your apartment because I lost my apartment and I bought it from the same buyer that you bought it and I come first. Aren't you going to go to the guy that sold you the apartment? So the Gemara, yeah, you will. But he's going to do something like this. He's going to first kick you out. He's going to now you're going to go sue the one you bought it from. Okay, but until then, he's going to eat a lot of the fruit. And that you'll never get back that money. They said, or another pshat is Lokeach number 2. If we're talking about here, I'll show you one of the pictures we have. Lokeach number 2 bought a piece of property from the Meicher without any kind of guarantee. Zok the Gemara, let's just get to the Amar Mar, and then we'll say the sponsors. If you're so concerned that these Lekuchas on the side don't have a receipt, and it's just the Meicher that has a receipt, so how come you do receipts for a Chayiv? It's not going to work. You're right. The certain people have receipts, but certain people don't have receipts. Like the Lekech number 2 and 3, they don't have receipts, and they could get messed up from this. Says the Gemara, Hasam Zuzi Damasik, when you have a loan, so you're trying to get cash, and eventually you go to whoever bought fields. You're not getting cash. You go to the guy that has a field. But Amri Paisi Bachoy Bezuze, they're not going to give up the real estate right away. This is very interesting. I had trouble understanding it. They won't give up the real estate. That part I understand. They'll say, look, maybe he paid you in cash. Hacha, Daramasik. Over here, they might give up the real estate even without speaking to the seller. I don't know why. Why? The guy is after real estate. So he comes after real estate, comes after the buyer. Maybe whatever the reason is, they're not going to go to the buyer right away and they're going to lose out, especially they might lose the payroys, and that's why we don't write a receipt by real estate, but we write a receipt by a chayiv. The turning of the daf in Kislev is sponsored by Kinnovations LLC in honor of my uncle Rabbi Chanan Pressman, official, should be schuz v'akiv simcha ben fega, shiluk for Refuat bas Chaya. And a huge thank you to Tzvi Stefansky plus all the brachas. Danny Fine and Rob Ernst of Elite Israel Realty welcome all the new Olim, proudly standing with you on your journey and finishing Shas and to finishing Shas together. Boys, I want to remind you of this. Sanhedrin starts on Thursday, really, the first year I'm going to be giving Bezer Hashem in America, to be announced tomorrow, exactly what we're doing. What? Matzah Shabbos what? Oh, this Matzah Shabbos, we are going to be in Ranana. You can come here. There'll be a live screening, but the actual show is going to be in Ranana in English and in Hebrew, 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, Bezer Hashem. Rabbi Isai, easier sugya here. Omar Mar, if a guy loses he claims he lost his shtar of his real estate, so he can write him a new shtar that just says that he's the owner without any kind of guarantees in there. What's the exact language? Omar Rav Nachman, the Kasvi Hachi, you write this. Shtar Denan, the Loyle Migvi Bay, this shtar, you write specifically, this shtar is not to go collect any real estate from anybody in the world. Loyle Mishavde, not from real estate that has a lien on it, or that's meshubah, that's a lien, or real estate that doesn't have a lien, or metata, whatever. You cannot collect anything with this shtar. Not a meshubah karka, not a non-meshubah. This shtar serves one purpose and one purpose only. It's that the original owner can't come and say that it's his. This is proof of ownership. That's it. Afrom. Does anybody remember we had this? What achrayus to sofer means? It's a musig in Shas.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means if there's no achrayus in the shtar, that means that it should have.
Oh, beautiful. Says Judah. Achrayus to sofer means that a shtar automatically gives you achrayus. It gives you a lien on other properties, even though it doesn't say it. The reason why I didn't say it is a typo. It was an automatic correction, and it took it out. But it's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be in there. The reason it's not in there is because the sofer forgot he made a mistake. From this sugi you see that achrayus is a to sofer. It should have been in there and it's not there. Why? Very simple. Why are you writing this whole arichos? Oh, do not collect other things. You know what you do? Don't put in the whole paragraph about achrayus, and automatically you won't be able to collect. Why do you have to write this shtar? Don't collect with. Just don't talk about collection and you won't collect. The answer is if it's not in there, you do collect. They say that you have the Chsam Sofer, the great grandfather. You have the Ksav Sofer, and you have the Shavit Sofer. That's the grandson. And they say that later on generations they already talking such shtusim that they wrote a sefer called To Sofer. It's a joke. But if you're already talking about the Chsam Sofer, he says, if you steal my shtickle Torah and you say it over in your name, Givaldik. But don't ever say your own shtickle Torah in my name. That was one of his Givaldik. Okay, Zog the Gemara. Achrayus to sofer. Time of the cause of lehachi. Holocaust of lehachi gavi. You see, if you don't write it, you will be able to collect the shtar. It does have an automatic built-in achrayus. Rav Ashi argues. Rav Ashi Omar achrayus lafto sofer. No, it's not automatic. So what does it mean that you write? How do you show in a shtar that this shtar you cannot collect with? By not writing anything about the warranty. If you take out that whole paragraph, you cannot collect. You don't have to write specific words in there. Oh, don't collect with this. The like siv be'achrayis doesn't have any achrayis. Says the Gemara Bar the Gemaisa. Other name. I said that you have a lezuzah la ugavro l'mizban lo ara. A woman gave money to a shaliach to go buy some real estate, and he messed up. Ozal zavan lo shlei b'achrayis. He bought a piece of property for her without any title insurance. No title insurance. Yeah? Bismanenu. You buy a piece of property without title insurance. Mamish messed up. Any minute you could lose the $10 million you spent on this property. So she comes to Rav Nachman and she tells Rav Nachman the story. Rav Nachman said she's 100% right. It's also a musig in Shas. When you send a shliach, you could say, I sent you to do good, not to mess me up. What you did is terrible. Who buys property without title insurance, without achrayus? Zil zavin shalei b'achrayus. We already went through this. The Oiz V'Hadar says it one way. I'm just reading from what the Gemara says, the way I understand it. Zil zavin minei. Go buy it from him. Doesn't say mina. Minei. Buy the real estate. You shliach, now it's your responsibility. Go do switch the name on the title to yours. Shalei b'achrayus. V'Hadar. And if she wants, zavin ala b'achrayus. Then you sell it to her. But it's your responsibility. And that's it. It's your responsibility. So the Rishonim ask Gemara the Gekasha here. Think about it. If this shliach didn't do what he was supposed to do, so it should cancel out the whole sale. There shouldn't be a sale at all. So what's her big taina? No sale. Go restart. She told him buy a piece of property with achrayus and he bought without. So they say that he didn't. The shliach never mentioned the word that he's a shliach. He bought it from the guy. So the guy thought it was a real sale. So now he has to deal directly with the shliach. It's between the shliach and the seller. The shtar says the wrong name. You mean saying in the shtar you should have noticed for somebody else? I hear.
There's no sale.
Yeah.
The guy obviously doesn't have money. That's why they're taking the field away in the first place.
Why? It's a sale. Sale's a sale. Why money? He doesn't want to. They don't want it back. The woman wants it. She just wants it with her
The
achrayas.
reason why the topic comes up
Yeah.
is because someone's grabbing the field.
No, topic comes up because she wants a field. You're saying, oh no, for the future. How do you know? For the future, I want a field with achrayas. I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years. You want to move into an apartment that one day you never know what's going to happen. They messed up and there's no title insurance. You would do such a thing. Move your whole mishpacha all the way from America, do aliyah, move to the apartment. 6 days later, get out. Yeah, well, hopefully that's different over there. Okay, Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.